Welcome to Vedanta Bhakti Pravachanam channel. We are looking into Sai Satcharitra, which is a great work done by Himad Pant and written the stories of Sai Baba, which are very great and very happiest stories. In this chapter number 33, Udi Leelas he is mentioning. Let us see. Let us now bow before the great saints. The merciful glances will destroy mountains of sins and do away with all the blemishes of our character. Their talk gives us good teachings and confers on us invaluable happiness. Their minds do not know any difference, such as this is ours and that is yours. Such differentiation never arises in their minds. Their debts will never be repaid by us in this birth as well as in many future births. Udi. It is well known that Baba took darshana from all and out of the amount was collected. He spent on charity and purchased fuel. This fuel he put in Duni, the sacred fire which he kept ever burning. The ash from the fire was called Udi, and it was freely distributed to the devotees at the time of their departure from Shirdi. What did Baba teach by this Udi? Baba taught by this Udi that all the visible phenomena in the universe are as transient as the ash. Our bodies composed of matter of the 5 elements will fall down after all their enjoyments are over and be reduced to ashes. In order to remind the devotees of the fact that their bodies will be reduced to ashes, Baba distributed Udi to them. Baba also taught by the Udi that Brahma is the only reality and the universe is epiphermal, and that no one in this world, be he a son, father or wife, is really ours. We come here alone and we have to go from there here alone. It has been found that the Udi cured many physical and mental maladies, but Baba wanted to repeat into the devotees here the principles of discrimination between the unreal and the real. He taught non-attachment for the unreal by his Udi and Dakshina. The former taught as discrimination, and the latter Dakshina taught as non-attachment. Unless we have these two things, it is not possible for us to cross over the sea of the mundane existence. So Baba asked for Dakshina, and while the devotees took leave, he gave Udi as prasad, bestowed some of it on their foreheads. Leave he gave Udi as prasad. When Baba was in a cheerful mood, he used to sing merrily. On such a song was about Udi. The meaning of the song is, "Oh playful Ram, come, come, and bring with me of Udi." Baba asked to sing in very clear and tender tones. So, besides the spiritual implication of Udi, it had also its material significance. It concentrated health, prosperity, freedom from anxiety and many other worldly gains. So, the Udi has helped to gain both our ends, materials as well as spiritual. We shall now begin with the stories about the Udi. Scorpion sting. Narayan Motiram Jani of Nasik was a devotee of Baba. He was serving under another devotee of Baba by name Ramachandra Vaman Modak. Once he went to Shirdi with his mother and saw Baba, then Baba himself he told that her son should start independent business. Some days after his prophecy turned true, Narayan Jani left service and started boarding house, Anand Ashram, which thrived well. Once a friend of his, Narayan Rao, was stung by a scorpion and the pain caused it was severe and unbearable. Udi is the most efficacious in such cases. It is to be applied on the point of pain, and so Narayan Rao searched for it but found none. Then he stood before Baba's picture and invoked Baba's aid, chanted Baba's name, and taking out the pinch of the ashes of the jaws took burning in front of Baba's picture, and thinking it's Baba's Udi, applied it on the seat of pain and the sting. As soon as the ash he removed his fingers, the pain vanished and both the persons were moved and felt delighted. Bubonic plague case. Once a devotee of Bandra came to know that his daughter, who was staying in another place, was down with bubonic plague. He had to know Udi with him, so he went to Nana Sahib Chandarkot to send the same. Nana Sahib got this message en route Thana railway station when he was travelling with his wife of Kalyan. He had no Udi with him Then he therefore took up some dust from the road, meditated upon Sai Baba, invoked his aid and applied in his wife's forehead. The devotee was very glad to learn that his daughter was suffering for 3 days, began to improve from the very moment Nana Sahib invoked Baba's aid near the Thana railway station. The Jamner miracle. In the year 1945, Nana Sahib Chandar was Mamaltadar at Jamner in the Khandesh district, which is more than 100 miles from Shirdi. His daughter Mainatahi was pregnant and was due to deliver. Her case was very serious and she was suffering from labor pains for the last 2 or 3 days. Nana Sahib tried all remedies but in vain. He then remembered Baba and invoked his aid. There in Shirdi, one Ramgiri, who Baba called Bapugir Buba, was leaving for his native place in Khandesh. Baba called him and told him to stop at Jamner on the way home and give the Udi to Arti to Nana Sahib. Ramgir Buba said that he had only 2 rupees with him and this amount was barely sufficient for the railway fare up to Jalgaon, and it was not possible for him to go from Jalgaon to Jamner, a distance of 30 miles. Baba assured him that he need to not care as everything would be provided for. Then Baba asked Shama to write a well-known arati composed by Madhav Adkar and gave a copy of the Udi to Ramgir Buba to be delivered to reach Jalgaon at about 2:45 p.m. He had only 2 annas left with him and he was in flight. To his great relief, he had somebody calling out, "Who is Bapugiri Buba of Shirdi?" He went to him and told him that he was Bapugir Buba. Then that person professing to be sent by Nana Sahib took him to an excellent tanga, a good pair of horse. They both drove in it. The tanga ran fast and early in the morning they came to Brooklet. The man took the horse and watering them, and he asked Ramgirva to partake of some eatables. On seeing the beard, mistake and the livery of that person, Ramgir Buba suspected him to be a Muslim and was unwilling to take any refreshments from him. But he satisfied Ramgir Buba by saying that he was a Hindu, a Kshatriya of Garhwal, and that Nana Sahib had sent the refreshments and there should be no difficulty in its acceptance. Then both of them took the refreshments and started again. They reached Jamner at dawn. Ramgir Buba alighted to attend a call of nature and returned within a few minutes, but found that there was no tanga and no driver. He was dumbfounded. They went to the neighboring Kacheri and on making enquiries learned that Mamaltadar was at home. He went to Nana Sahib's house and gave to Nana Sahib Baba's Udi and Arati. At this time, Mainatai's case was in the most serious condition and all were in deep anxiety about her. Nana Sahib called out his wife and asked her to give the Udi mixed with water to their daughter to drink. He thought that Baba Sahib was most opportune. In a few minutes came the news that the delivery was safe and that the crisis had passed away when Ramgir Buba thanked Nana Sahib for the pune, tanga and the refreshments, etc. The latter was greatly surprised as he had sent none to the station and was not aware of any person coming from Shirdi. Mr. B.V. Dev of Thana, retired Mamaltadar, made enquiries about this matter with Bapurao Chandorkar, son of Nana Sahib, and Ramgir Buba of Shirdi, and after satisfying himself wrote an elaborate article, part prose and part poetry in the Sai Leela magazine. One day, Baba called me to him and gave me a packet of Udi and a copy of Baba's Arati. I had to go to Khandesh at that time. Baba directed me to go to Jamner and told him to deliver the Arati and Udi to Nana Sahib Chandorkar at Jamner. I said to Baba that all I had was rupees 2 and asked him how that could take by train from Kopargam to Jalgaon. And next from Jalgaon to Jamner, Baba said, God will give. That was Friday and I started at once. I reached Manmad at 7:30 p.m. and Jalgaon at 2:45 a.m. At that time, plague regulations were in force and I had much trouble to discover what I should do to get to Jamner. At about 3 p.m. a pune in boots, turban and equipped with other details of good dress came to me and took me to a tanga and drove me on. On the way to Bagur, I took refreshments. We reached Jamner early in the morning, and by the time I attended Call of Nature, the Tanga ex driver has disappeared. Narayan Rao. Bhakti Narayan Rao had the good fortune to see Sai Baba twice during the latter's lifetime. 3 years after the passing away of Baba 1918, he wanted to come to Shirdi, but he could not. Within a year of Baba's Mahasamadhi, he fell sick and suffered much. All possible remedies gave him to relief. So he meditated on Baba day and night. One night he had a vision. Baba came through SLR, comforted him saying, "Don't be anxious. You will be improving from tomorrow, and within a week you will be on your legs." Narayan Rao got perfectly well within the time indicated in the vision. Now, the point of consideration is this: was Baba living because he had the body, or was he dead because he left it? No, Baba is ever alive for. He transcends both life and death. He who loved him wholeheartedly gets response from him at any time, at any place. He always by our side, and all will take any form, appear before the devout Bhakta and satisfy him. In 1917, Appa Sahib Kulkarni was transferred to Thana and began to worship Baba's picture presented to him by Baba Sahib Bhate. In real earnest, he had the worship. He offered flowers, sandal paste and Naivedya daily to Baba in the picture and longed identity to see him. In this connection, it may be remarked that seeing Baba's picture earnestly is equivalent to seeing him in person. The following story illustrates this statement. Bal Bhuva Satar, a saint of Mumbai named Bal Bhuva Satar, who on account of his piety, devotion and style was called Modern Tukaram, came to Shirdi for the first time in 1917. When he bowed before Baba, the latter said, "I have known the man for 4 years." Bal Bhuva wondered and thought how could that be, as that was first trip to Shirdi. But thinking about it seriously, he recollected that he had prostrated himself for 4 years before Baba's portrait in Mumbai and was convinced about the significance of Baba's words. He said to himself, how omniscient and all-pervading are the saints, and how kind are they to their devotees. I merely bowed to his photo, but this fact was noticed by Baba, and in due time he made me realize that seeing his photo is equivalent to seeing him in person. Now we return to Appa Sahib's story. While he was in Tada, he had to go on tour to Bhiwandi and was expected to return after a week. In his absence, the following wonderful thing took place on the third day. At noon, Fakir turned up at Appa Sahib's house. His features resembled exactly those of Baba's photo. Mrs. Kulkarni and the children all asked him whether he was Sai Baba of Shirdi. He said no, but that he was an obedient servant of his and came there at his order to inquire after the well-being of the family. Then he asked for dakshina. The lady gave him a rupee. He gave her a small packet of woody and asked her to keep in the shrine. Then he left the house and went away. Now, hear the wonderful of Leela Sai. Appa Sahib could not proceed with his tour as his horse fell sick at Bhiwandi. He turned home in that afternoon and learned from his wife about Fakir's visit. He got very restless and he did not have the darshan of the Fakir. Moreover, he did not like that only 1 rupee was paid to him dakshina. He said that he had been present, he would have paid not less than 10 rupees. Then he immediately started the quest of the Fakir and searched for him in the masjid and other places without taking any food. His search was in vain. When he returned home and took his food, the readers may remember that Baba's dictum in the chapter 32 that God's quest should not be made on an empty belly. Then after meals, he went out for a walk with a friend, Mr. Chitre. After going some distance, they saw a man approaching them rapidly. Appa Sahib thought that he must be the Fakir that came to his house at noon, as his features tallied with those of Baba in the photo. Appa Sahib gave him a rupee. He demanded again and again, and so Appa Sahib gave him 2 more. Still he was not satisfied. Then he borrowed rupees 3 from Chitri and gave him to him. He wanted still more. Appasaheb asked him to accompany him to his home. Then they all returned home and Appasaheb gave him 3 rupees. In all 9. He looked unsatisfied and demanded again. Then Appasaheb told him that he had a currency of 10 rupees. The fakir asked of the same, took it and returned the 9 rupees and went away. Appasaheb had earlier said that he would pay 10 rupees and that sum was taken from him and 9 rupees consecrated by Baba's touch were returned to him. The figure 9 is significant. It denotes the 9 types of devotion. It may also be noted here that Baba gave 9 coins to one Lakshmi Shinde at his last moment. Appasaheb examined the Udi packet and found that it contained some flower leaves and akshata. Then, some time afterwards, he got a hair from Baba. When he saw him at Shirdi, he put the Udi packet and the hair in the tabby and wrote it always on his arm. Baba Sahib realized the power of the Udi, though it is very efficient. He got rupees 40 as pay in the beginning, but after he secured Baba's photo and his Udi, he got many times more and also got much power and influence. And along with these temporal benefits, his spiritual progress was also rapid. So, those who are fortunate enough to get Baba's Udi should, after bath, apply it on the forehead and take some it mixed with the water as holy truth. Haribhavu Karnik, 1917. Haribhavu Karnik of Dahanu came to Shirdi on the Guru Purnima day and worshipped Baba with all formalities. He offered clothes and dakshina and after taking Baba's leave got down the steps of the masjid. Then he thought that he should offer 1 more rupee to Baba and was just turning to climb up again when Shama signaled that by gesture that as he had got Baba's leave he should go and not return. So he started for home. On this way when he went to the temple of Kalaram at Nasik of Darshan, the saint Narsingh Maharaj, who used to sit inside the temple, came to Haribhavu, caught him by his wrist and said, "Give me my 1 rupee." Karnik was surprised. He paid the rupee most willingly and thought that Sai Baba recovered the rupee, which he intended in his mind to give the Saint Narsingh Maharaj. The story illustrates the fact that all saints are one and illustrates how they work in unison. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all.